Welcome to another video lesson from the Jelly Roll Club. In this video lesson, you will learn to make Block 5 in the Summer Sampler. First, let's take a look at the unit that you're going to be building today. This is a 4-patch with flying geese inside each of the 4 panels. You will need a total of 4 units to build this block that consists of 2 flying geese each. To build your flying geese units, you will need to cut your pieces 4.5 inches by 2.5 inches. You will also need some setting triangles for the corners that are 2.5 inches by 2.5 inches. Each of the 4 units are identical. Take your time when selecting the fabrics for this block, as contrast is very important to make your shapes look dynamic and make that center pinwheel really sparkle. I've been sewing for a while, so when I cut multiples, sometimes I like to stack my fabric. If you are new to quilting, you may not want to stack as many pieces, as this can impact your accuracy when cutting. Don't forget to measure twice and cut once. You need 4 rectangles of color A and 4 rectangles of color B. Cut 4 rectangles of each color for your flying geese. You need a total of 8 rectangles, which are 4.5 by 2.5. From your background fabric, cut a total of 16 squares, which are 2.5 by 2.5. I use my little ruler and a large rotary cutter to make this job easy peasy. There are lots of ways to make an easy corner. In this case, I like to visualize where that 1/4 inch line is going to be, that seam line, and then cut a 1/4 inch away from that line, leaving my seam allowance. This way I can use my 1/4 inch foot and assembly line sew all of the pieces. There is more than one method to do an easy corner. Perhaps you've been taught to draw a line across the diagonal and then sew on that line. If that's the method that makes you feel more comfortable, go ahead and use that. I'm using a different method. Remember, there's always more than one way to do the same thing in quilting. I use this particular method because I use a 1/4 inch foot on my sewing machine, and so cutting off the excess works best for me. If you have any questions about any method you see in this video, don't forget to leave a comment down below. If you have any questions, please drop them in the comments. I'd be glad to answer them via email or by messenger. You can reach me on Facebook at jellyrollclub.com, or you can find me on my website at www.jellyrollclub.com. Take your time pressing and measuring your units because this will produce very accurate results. In this block, it's best to press towards the dark or towards the geese. Once you sew one side of all the geese, now all you have to do is sew on the other and you're ready to continue. Even though I've been quilting for a long time, I still use the pictures of my block as a reference, and I double check in between each step to make sure that I'm sewing things correctly. It saves me from having to use a seam ripper later. Setting your seams and carefully pressing will save you so many headaches later on. I like to inspect my blocks every time that I press, and I often measure and check the seams to make sure that my 1/4 inch is accurate and that my seams are straight. After you have pressed and sewn both easy corners on your flying geese, make sure that you straighten and that you measure your units so that they measure 2.5 inches by 4.5 inches when they are done before proceeding to the next step. Once you have pressed all of your blocks, you've trimmed them up, now you are ready to combine them into a 4-patch. In order to combine them into a 4-patch, you will sew 2 flying geese units together. So you will have a total of 4 units that have 2 geese in each one. If any of your seams are too bulky when you sew, you can simply separate them gently and push them in the opposite direction, smoosh them flat from the front and from the back, and then carefully straighten your block and press it as flat as possible. Then you can measure, trim it up, and then you are ready for the final step, which is adding the sashing. I hope you are enjoying the Summer Sampler series. Don't forget, we will see you next Sunday for another edition of the Summer Sampler, and we will be building Block 6. Have a wonderful, wonderful week. If you are new to the Jelly Roll Club, don't forget to hit that like and subscribe so you don't miss any of our videos.